Hey guys, this is Chodaros, and I'm going to show you how to make the Couronne bracelet. This is a design by Lumania 0304. So it requires 8 pin bars, as you can see right here. So this is the largest bracelet I've ever done, and I get to do a tutorial on one, so that's pretty cool. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually didn't have enough looms to make a full wrap. So I can only do a little piece for the tutorial. It's pretty basic looming, just a couple extra steps in it. So let's see here. So again, you need an 8 pin bar setup. So and everything slants down. Your first and last pin bar, they're on the same height. Then you go down a peg, and then you have your second and seventh. You go down a peg, and then you have your third and sixth, and then your fourth and fifth are straight. Those two are the only ones that are aligned together. Okay? Alright, so let's get started. Now, I'm only going to use 3 colors today, so opaque white, opaque red, and opaque black. But I am going to highlight each step, so that way it won't be confusing. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to lay a perimeter. So we're going to put 1 band across the 2 center pins, and just as any other perimeter, we're just going to place our bands on all of the outer pegs. Until you reach the 4th peg from the top. When you reach this peg, we're going to take it all the way in, like that. Okay, so we want to come over to the other side and do the exact same thing. Then again, just going in to the center peg, and then push all your bands down. Okay, so our next step is to lay 2 more single chains, and they're going to go on the 3rd pin and the 6th pin. So the 2 pin bars that are outside of the 2 center ones, that's where we're going to lay that. So I'm going to do mine. Well, let me show you here. That's the chain that we're getting ready to place is this kind of like a little bit of a squiggly line, that pink one there. So depending on what color you want that to be, if you want it to be something that's going to be a contrast or whatnot. I think I'm going to make mine white. And then take it all the way up to meet the red band. We push those down, and then place our other side. Okay. So, oops, look at that. Jeez. I bought these little cups at Michael's. They were 99 cents for 2. And they're really nice to carry bands in, like instead of putting them on the workspace. Until now. Sorry about that. Alright, so we're going to push our bands down. Okay, so our next step is going to be placing this zigzag. It's a zigzag band there. So that will be the color right next to the border that you just placed. So for that one, going to use white as well. So you're going to just go from the first peg on the first pin bar in and just do a normal zigzag in and out all the way up. Okay, and then the last one goes to the last pin bar that has the red border on it. Push all those down, and then we go and do the exact same on this side. Alrighty, so push all your bands down. Okay, now our next step is to lay 2 more single chains, one on the second pin bar, one on the 7th, the way up. So I think I'm going to do red. Okay, push bands down and repeat on the opposite side. Okay, so simple so far. Push all those down. Alrighty, now our next step is to lay this lighter pink. That's a zigzag too. So again, it goes on both sides, and we're going to start from the second pin. So I'm going to use white again. Oopsie. So far all we've done is just zigzags and single chains. Not too difficult. So the last one goes up to meet the red. Push all those down. And now we do this side. Okay, so let's push all of these down. Okay, so our next step is to lay X bands going up the center. So I think I'm going to do let's do black and red. I'm going to do 2 colors. Okay, so it's just putting 1, 2. And so if I started with my left up, I'm going to always start with my left up. And then if you're using multiple colors, you'll remember because each one will have the same color on it. Okay, and so we do that all the way up into the last 2 pegs, and that's what's going to join those into the design. So we push all of those down, and the next step is putting a zigzag right here. So for this one, I'm going to do all black. So again, because we always do this, we always start from the outer peg and go diagonally in when we start. And just another zigzag. I have to push my bands down as I go. I can't help it. That drives me crazy. Okay, and then our last one goes out. And push all those down. And then we repeat that on the other side. Remember, always going in from the outer peg. come down and push all your bands down. And we just have one more step. So let me get my bands out of the way. Okay. So our last step is to place cap bands. So it depends on if you want them to be seen or not. I mean, you can kind of see them in mine, but it'll be behind your zigzag. So if you want them to be noticeable. Now I'm going to place mine just an easy way. It's just the way that I like to place mine. But we have to place a cap band on both of the center pegs. Okay, so cap band on both of them. So the easiest way that I found to do it is I like to put a regular cap band all the way down. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you do that even on the last peg. Alright, so what I do, still got bands all over my desk. Why did I get those cups then, right? Alright, what I like to do is now I just take my hook and grab the cap band and just pull it over. To me, it seems to be the easiest when I'm doing 2 pegs for a cap band. Everybody's got their own way, so you don't have to do it this way. But if you want to and it helps you, I'll smile. See. Oh no, I thought my band broke. I was gonna say, what? That's why I never do long bracelets. Big, thick bracelets, because when I started trying them a long time ago, I would either break a band or I would forget to loop a band, so they'd always fall apart. That's the only reason. Alright, so once we have our cap bands on, make sure all of your bands on your loom are pressed down, and we get to begin looping. Okay, so the first set of bands that we're going to loop are the zigzags on the outside of your X bands. Okay, and we're going to loom them back and forth. It's not all of them one way. So you want to go into the second peg up, grab the top band, and loom it back. And then you can take this one, and then it's just back and forth, back and forth. So that's that whole side. So push all your bands down. Now we can do this side, which I can see better, so that's yay. And last one, complete. So we go ahead and we press all of these down. Okay, so our next step is to loom out the X bands all the way up the center. And we're going to start with the one on the bottom. So in my case, it is the one on the right. And now we're going to start with every one that's on top. So in my case, it should be all the reds go first. And it's, excuse me, the last band on these pegs, so it should be easy for you to grab. Alrighty, one left to the center pins in the top. And that's that. Wow, my loom is totally buckling in. Oh my gosh. I guess that was just prone to happen. Let me fix my loom. I'll be right back. Okay, well, my loom wasn't fixable, so I had to redo the entire bracelet to this step. So if you notice my colors are a little different, yes, I did change them. So, okay, our next step is to grab the two bands that go out to the sides and loom those over back to themselves. Like that. And then we are going to loom up the center chains on these two pins here. So it's the 3rd row and the 6th row. I'm looking because I want to make sure. Yep. So we only have a couple bands to go through. Grab that. And this is the last band on that peg, so it's all the way down at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to push those down and do this side over here. Okay, last one. Uh-oh. No, don't come apart. Alright, so once we do that, then we're going to loom out these zigzags. So that's rows 2 and 3, 6 and 7. So you want to start on the third row and loom it out to the second. Okay, and then you can start going back and forth. And this band will be the last band on this row here. Uh-oh. No, it's not going anywhere this time. I hear it crunching. I think because my looms are over a year old, the bases, they could have had a lot of wear and tear, maybe not holding the pin bars as well as they could, because a lot of kids I had loom with them and they never used the hook, the back end of the hook, to take their bracelets off. They would use their hands and they can get bent. Alright, so time to do this side. So if you notice this right band, it's not a real teardrop because we already loomed that this chain here, which caught that white band, so it's going to be a little bit of a different shape. Okie dokie. So, push all of those bands down. Alright, so our next step is going to be, it's not the ordinary, but we're going to go to the second pin bar, and this is the band that we just looped, that zigzag. So what we're going to do, and on this one we only have 2, we only looped this, in my case it's white, and went back to there. You're going to grab the second white bar or white band on your peg and pull it up and over and release. Now if we get further down, well, I know they are all 2, so we want to take this bottom one here and loop it up and over, so you're only doing the bands that you just loomed. So in my case, all those red bands down there, you just do, you leave those and you just do the one you just loomed. And you have to make sure it's the bottom one or your band will come off the peg. So simple, not a hard step. And then you're going to come over to the right side and we're going to do the same thing. The bottom band up and over. Oh no. I am scared to death this thing's gonna come apart again. And that's that. Like this one somehow. That looks a little bit different. I think I looped it over this way instead of that way, but that's okay. I just still want to grab the bottom white band and pull it up and over. Okay, and then we push all of that down. And our next step is to loom over the next part of our border. So we want to loop that bottom band over to itself, and then go ahead and do the same on this side, like that. And then we're going to loom up the single chain on the second pin bar. I'm seriously pushing down with my loom like I'm holding on to a bridge during a tornado. Hey, we put a lot of work into our bracelets, right? That's a lot of work. Especially, see? It's like my confirmation. Shouldn't be doing large bracelets, huh? No, I'm just teasing. What it really is not setting my loom up properly to handle this much tension. So, the first thing I thought of, the first person I thought of was Loomaniac. I call her Little One. I went right to her account, pulled up the first tutorial I could find with a ton of pin bars, and voila. I was back up and going. So big shout out to Lumaniac. She has a stunning account. Little girl, not little, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say little. She is a young adult. She's a cutie. Alright, so now that we have these, I'm sure you guys can kind of figure out where we're going with this. So the last two steps are to do the zigzags on the side and then obviously the border after that. Okay, so we don't have to worry about taking this one over yet. We'll just do our zigzag. Alright, so we move on to this side over here. Actually, my color combo was inspired by Lumaniac as well. She had a bracelet on her account that was done in these colors and different design, but still a large bracelet, and so it inspired me to use them on this. Oh, that's it. Alright, so if your loom hasn't buckled, yay. So our next and last step is to loom out the border. So we still have this one over here to grab. Take that to itself. I'm going to do this one because I just don't want to forget it. Okay, so we're just going to loom our border straight up. And that will tie in these pegs with these bands. And then just, I'm sorry, I'm like seriously holding on to their life. And then you just loom all of these over to the first center peg. Okay? Then you take it, come over to the right side and do the exact same thing. Oh, it's ready to go right now. It's gonna buckle. No, Loom God, no! I always post, why, Loom God, why? There, ta-da! Look at this. Do you guys see this buckling? I'm holding it down, but I mean, that's insane. Okay, so you want to take your C-clip, and we left a band that's going across the last two pegs. So you want to stick your hook in and grab that band, which is the bottom. And I'm going to stick it in my C-clip and then go into this right center, grab the other side of that band and stick it in my C-clip. Like that. Okay? So probably a good idea to start taking some bands off. I surely am not ripping this off my loom, being the, look at that, do you see that come right out of there? Wow. I mean, it could fall apart right now and I'd be okay because it's together, but still. Be very careful when you're doing this for the fact that you don't want to pull and stretch any of your bands. So you want to make sure you get underneath all the bands on the peg whenever you take it off. Like this one here. Obviously, you don't have to watch this part. You can surely fast forward or be done with the tutorial, but I'm going to be done here in a sec. Looks pretty already. If I were to add bling to this, I would definitely go with chains. And if you want to see some great examples of how to add chains to bracelets, check out NixHaley22 on Instagram. She is the first one to add chains in bracelets, and she does a fabulous job, and we love her so. And I have one more band. One band I did not loop. So I have to take this off my C-clip and put it back on, and then push it so it goes down to the bottom. Then I have to loop this one, so that was a close call there. And then I can put this back up on my C-clip. Like so. And the last two pins. Ta-da! Goodness, that was a lot of work. So here, oops, I had a band caught. I'll have to pull that later. I will pull that out. But here is our bracelet. It really doesn't need any stretching or anything done with it. So this is the back side because you can see the two single chains. So we flip it over and that's the front side. It come out gorgeous. So with the amount of looms that it takes to make this bracelet, my guess is the best option if you wanted to do a full wrap would be to do a transfer. If you transferred all the bands on the pegs there at the end and put them back on your loom, you could surely do this as a transfer. So this is our Couronne bracelet, and all credits go to Lumania0304, so please do check her out on Instagram. Her link is provided below, and I hope you enjoyed making it. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye!